And so wait for it, pretty close to the maximum range of 12 kilometers, and there you go, that's 12 torpedoes sent to that poor battleship, who's very confident it's going to get B all by himself, you know, and yeah, that sounds like the right place to be at the moment, like, really, what could possibly go wrong? 12 kilometers, which DD could actually be shooting at me, they're far, far away, so yeah, I'm probably completely safe right now, and yep, ouch. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying your game. Yeah, I'm sure he must be having a really nice moment right now, and I think he probably made the best decision of his life. But yeah, let's talk about me buying that thing, because it looks like I did not really make the best decision of my life, let me tell you why. And there you have the Asashio next to the other tier 8 Japanese destroyers, and the two Pan-Asian destroyers equipped with deep water torpedoes. And immediately the first thing you notice with the Asashio engine accelerator smoke, that's pretty much standard with the Japanese DDs at that tier, and it gets one torp reload. Not two like the Akizuki, not two like the tier 7 Yudachi, only one this time. That's a bit strange. Survivability, it's not great, it's a pure torpedo boat. Speed sucks just like the rest of, just like the others essentially. The acceleration and the traverse are noticeably worse. They're actually not that far from the Akizuki, and certainly much worse than the Kagero and the Yukikaze. So yeah, the Asashio, it's already paying a big price for that torpedo reload. In terms of guns, there is nothing to see here, pretty much the same story. You're not a gunboat, you're a torpedo, so you can make them work, but the turret rotation, it's really preventing you, and the low hit points, preventing you from engaging in dogfights. So yeah, and again, yeah, that's kind of the thing with the DD, it got deep water torpedoes, so it really means that you absolutely cannot engage DDs, because believe me, they will YOLO you to death if they know what they are doing. More on that later in the gameplay. The reload time gets increased if you compare it with the Kagero. The damage 4661, it's actually on the lower end of the DDs at that tier. But yeah, since you get that torpedo, you get the best burst damage at the tier, and you also get the best range of 12 kilometers. Now obviously you really need, how can I say it, that range isn't super usable. It's going to take forever for your torpedoes to reach their target, and as you've seen in the intro, at that range you are not putting all 8 torpedoes on target, you're putting 3 per wave if you are lucky. But yeah, it's probably the best range of any DD in the game so far, so that's a plus point. But if you look at the DPM of that thing, it's actually not that great, and it's actually the weakest at the tier. Only the Yukikaze is actually doing worse if you look at the other torpedo boats. Compare that with the Siliwangi, 39,000, and the burst damage of the Siliwangi, 44,000. Yeah, that's actually not too far, and the latest introduction, Amatsukaze, it's also pretty close, and in terms of DPM, much better than the Asashio. So yeah, king of torpedo boats, not really anymore, and you're pretty much CV food, by the way, because you do not have any A, and you cannot really dodge any torpedoes. And so yes, let's watch it in action against what is best described as a typical tier 8 matchmaking, with plenty of battleships and the CV in, which is going to spot us if we decide to take the wrong route at the beginning of the battle. And yeah, essentially the thing with the Asashio, yeah, you've kind of seen it in the stats. It's really a pure torpedo boat, and it really trades quite a lot of capabilities. In fact, it's putting all its eggs in one basket. Super long range deep water torpedoes. With that torpedo reload, and you see here that I'm not using Ozawa as a commander there, I'm using the one that gives you more torpedoes concealment. And yeah, it's kind of a choice you have to make. I personally think Ozawa is the better commander for this one, because you are only getting one of these torpedo reloads, only one of them. The Yudachi at tier 7 has 2, the Akizuki at tier 8 has 2, you're only getting one. And as you've seen in the intro, throw the 12-kilometer range torpedoes. Yeah. Honestly, it's not super useful because yes, you can take those shots, but practically you're not going to land all of them, and realistically you really need a battleship that's capable of staying in the same course at the same speed without changing anything for something like 20 seconds. And so what are you trading for that? Well, exactly what you've just saw there. You see me disengaging from the German DD right away because low hit points and essentially deep water torpedoes, there's nothing I can do against it. Obviously, the main selling point of that ship, it's the 55,000 burst damage. And you're going to see that in action. Yeah, it's a bot battleship, but don't worry. The torpedo hits just as hard against any human battleship. So practically this is what that thing does best, and you can reliably delete almost every single ship you will be facing. So I'm almost getting rid of this one. I thought I could get away with it, but there you go, the last salvo is going to take care of it. And there you go, that's what the Asashio does. Again, nothing too special here, because the Yudachi is essentially doing the same thing one tier lower. Yeah, so... And so you're still a torpedo boat, just like the Yudachi and the others, and I thought I could actually go back hunt that Z46, because he was busy with the bot Amagi 2 versus 1, that's probably a good way of engaging other destroyers with, but yeah, unfortunately the Amagi goes down and I have to run for my life right now, and it takes me a bit of time to actually do that, because yeah, as you have seen in this stats section, that thing loses quite a lot of maneuverability. If you compare it with the other Japanese destroyers. So nevertheless, I'm still going to engage that half health Z46 with my full health Asashio, because I think I can actually get away with this. He's just used its smoke screen against bot. I'm not sure that was super useful, but there you go. Yeah, no, yeah, he gets within. Of course he's going to YOLO me, I have deep water torpedoes, but yeah, I'm going to try my luck to get him away and bet that he does not do that, or he might actually be scared for whatever reason, and he does just that. So he stops right in its track when I'm down to 5000 HP, and that allows me to actually get away with this one. So yeah, it's kind of a last ditch effort, or a last resort. Trying to run away from tricky situations, because you are obviously not going to damage too many destroyers with your deep water torpedoes, but yeah, it's pretty much an oddball in the Japanese line. It's kind of one of the two Japanese DDs that actually have these torpedoes, so yeah. Most people will not actually think you have. Unfortunately, I was not able to protect my teammate and prevent that 46 from YOLOing them and taking one of our ships away. So that's kind of the trade-off you have to make when you are playing torpedo boats. You have to accept that there are certain situations in which you will feel absolutely useless, and it is up to you to put yourselves in the situation and in the right position to maximize your strength. And so I'm witnessing there is one other battleship there, and I'm going to activate my engine accelerator and get there as quickly as I can, because yeah, even though my gun range it's not really there, my torpedo range actually is, and you can see that I can engage that Friedrich der Große absolutely no problem. So I'm going to wait a little. This guy is certainly sailing in a straight line. So that's an easy target for me, and sure enough we can send our 8 torpedoes in its way, and since we do not have any torp reload, we kind of have to pray that this is enough to take him out. So yeah, let's bring the score and debrief the Asashio. So is it fun? Well, it's a YOLO wagon. When you can YOLO, it's fun, but it's not going to happen in every battle. Is it beginner friendly? CVs will clap you, enemy DDs will clap you. So yeah, you kind of have to pick your battles with that thing and know where to go. Free to play friendly. Well, again, you kind of need the right commander on this. So it's probably one of the least free to play friendly ones, DDs. And especially if you consider the fact that the alternatives like the Yudachi at tier 7 or the Amatsukaze are much cheaper. Yeah. Overall rating 2.5 stars out of 5, simply because there are much better alternatives, and it's kind of been power crept actually. So yeah, let's talk about cruisers in the next one. See you, bye bye!